Welcome to Yankee Chronicle. I'm Abby Peel, your host. Our show this week is again presented by the Lake Sunapee region, VNA, and Hospice, where they provide healthcare and hospice services for individuals and families in homes and community settings, fostering continuity of care and enabling people to stay in their homes as long as possible. Coming up this week, Cathy Raymond will join me again to talk about the many fine healthcare programs that would not exist without the funds that the Renaissance Shoppe brings them. Elliott Cunningham will join me to tell us and invite you to a unique new London Barn Playhouse production. Ting Blagdon from the Lake Sunapee to Concord Rail Trail will continue his recap of expansions. And we'll close our show with Jamie Wilson on an Ausbon Sargent paddle around Little Lake Sunapee. But first, a few words from the good businesses that make it possible for us to continue as YCN, your local view. Please stay with us.
This program is supported by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Their full-service model offers oil delivery, propane, motor fuels with design, installation, service, and maintenance of all types of oil, gas, and alternative energy systems, as well as air conditioning, water conditioning systems, and their highly trained and friendly staff will assist you throughout the process of buying, installing, and servicing a full line of energy products. H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating.
The American Red Cross blood supply is at historically low levels this winter, and we're facing a dangerous situation across the country. Without the blood they need, hospitals may be forced to make tough decisions about patient care. Donors are needed now to ensure blood is available for everyone who needs it when they need it. The good news is, you can help. Make an appointment to give now. Visit redcrossblood.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS. Patients are counting on you.
Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel, coming to you from the Renaissance Shoppe underneath the VNA on Newport Road in New London. And I'm now joined by Cathy Raymond, who's the development officer here. Hi, Cathy.
Hi.
Last week we talked about the Renaissance Shoppe as a whole, what people can expect here, this beautiful chair I'm sitting in, come get it while it's here. The exciting news is that this shop is celebrating 20 years, and you're throwing a party,
yes,
which you're very good at.
That's my thing.
That's your thing, is a party. Talk about this. It's going to be September 24th here in the parking lot. Have fun.
You know, we always have, well, not always, obviously during COVID, but periodically we don't have one. But generally in the summer, early fall, we have some kind of summer party.
Sure.
It might, you know, more of a gala type of thing with auctions and that kind of thing. And so, but this year's the 20th anniversary of the shop. And we said, why don't we make the theme of this year's party an anniversary celebration.
I love it.
Rather than do two parties or something like that. So that was kind of the theme of the party, is we're going to celebrate the 20th anniversary.
I love it. And it's such a big milestone to celebrate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, you know, we talked about location, and it was pretty much unanimous that if the idea is to highlight and celebrate the shop, then you want people to come to the shop. So we're putting up a tent on the parking lot.
Amazing.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
And there'll be, you know, drinks and heavy hors d'oeuvres and some music and a couple fun things going on. But both the shop showroom, which we're sitting in now, and the barn will be open. People can shop. People can just look around and familiarize themselves.
Amazing.
If people want to make a donation, they can bring it with them. We might. One of the ideas for the party is to, just for fun, to have a small silent auction of cool things that come into the shop.
Yes.
But you can also just come in and shop and buy.
Amazing.
So
what a great idea.
Yeah, and we're going to do some recognition of some of the VIPs, people who helped found and make the shop possible 20 years ago. So there'll be a little history about the shop and a little recognition of a handful of people. So I think it'll be, I think it's gonna be great.
Amazing. So open to the public, Tuesday, September 24th, right here.
Right here, 5:30 in the evening.
You'll have some munchies and things like that.
We'll have some nice hors d'oeuvres, heavy hors d'oeuvres, I guess we call them, and some, at least beer and wine and things like that. And You do have to get a ticket.
Okay.
And, if we have the happy circumstance of getting so many people, we have to cut it off.
Sure.
But we're not expecting
Sure.
that. But there'll be invitations that will go out, of course, to certain people that
Sure.
I have a mailing address for. But there'll be ads coming out and things on our
Amazing.
website. So if you have questions, you can call me. If you want to get a ticket, you can call me, or you can just kind of wait to see it in the shop or get an invitation. But it is a ticket kind of thing because we're trying to,
Right.
we're
Raise some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest reason to have it is awareness and to
Sure.
celebrate the shop.
And
but of course
celebrate
you
it.
want to always raise a little
Sure.
money for.
And I'm sure you have some star volunteers over the years that have been here for a long time and things like that, and probably some strong and star contributors who have been for years, making sure that the Renaissance Shoppe comes and looks at things that they're looking to get rid of.
Right.
Yeah, amazing. Well, and as people move out of houses or out of town or whatever, the Renaissance Shoppe is always a good place to call.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I think it's wonderful to celebrate 20 years of the Renaissance Shoppe. Just before I let you go, and what does the Renaissance Shoppe support?
All the services, not one particular program,
Okay.
but it's like general services of Lake Sunapee Region VNA and
Wow.
Hospice. So what most people do know, but some may not, is we're a nonprofit. So as a nonprofit healthcare organization, we do quite a few things either at no cost or at reduced cost.
Right.
And so we have a deficit, an operating
Sure.
deficit,
Sure.
like most nonprofits
Sure.
do, because we have a mission.
Sure.
So we have to find ways to, offset that deficit so we can still keep doing those community benefits, is what we call
Amazing.
them. And we also have extraordinary costs now to hire and retain staff, which everyone knows.
Right.
The cost of staffing has gone through the roof for everybody. So that's a big expense for
Right.
us, and that helps us remain competitive. The more revenue we have, the more we have in our budget, the better we can compensate our staff.
Sure.
So it's for both, it's for that primarily, but also for that mission-driven stuff that we don't get paid for.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's raised a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
I don't know the exact number, but it's over $2.5 million since it opened.
I remember coming here, I think when it had just hit the million mark a few years ago, which was a milestone. And now to think you're well past that, and what an amazing support to the VNA, and to think about that's money that you never even thought to have, and this is possible.
I did want to mention one other thing. During the month of September, as we lead up to the party, every week, and we'll put this in the shop. We'll do ads.
Yeah, good.
But every week there's going to be a special promotion, whether it's a sale or something that, Wednesday of the first week of September, X items are on sale. Stop by.
Good.
Have some refreshments.
Yeah.
Meet our staff. And we're going to do that one day each of the 4 weeks of September as a way to promote the shop and the party.
Well, everyone needs to come in and peruse, as you said last week when we talked, frequently, because it's always changing.
Yes.
And you said you don't even pop down that frequently from upstairs.
It's like you live in New York City and you never go to the Statue of Liberty. It's like that. You know what I mean?
Well, and you'd always leave with something too, so you have to have a little self-control. But Cathy, how exciting! 20 years of the Renaissance Shoppe, and more information on the VNA's website.
Yeah, and again, 526-4077 extension 231 is my number.
Perfect.
If someone had questions about the party.
Awesome, Cathy. Thank you for joining me.
Of course, thank you.
This program is supported by Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire since 1997, with roots going back much further as the country press, AccuMail, and the home of the Kearsarge shopper. Echo Communications.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how, and we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids need to know the dangers and how to avoid them. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids, because when you talk, they hear you.
Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel, checking in with the new London Barn Playhouse as they just announced a special collaboration with the transport group in New York called Split, a new musical. And I'm now joined by Elliott Cunningham, the managing director here. Hi, Elliott.
Hi, how are you?
Good. This is so exciting because this extends the summer season, which a lot of people are used to it ending on Labor Day, but one more week. And tell us about Split.
Yeah, so we were really excited to talk about shoulder programming this year at the Barn Playhouse. And so a lot of people came and joined us for South Pacific.
Yes.
Which we did in collaboration with Symphony New Hampshire, which was a huge success, and not to tease it too much, but hoping that we'll do something like that next season as well. And this year at the end of the season, we're doing a brand new musical, a development of a new musical called Split, and that's in collaboration with Transport Group, which is an off-Broadway theater company.
Okay.
So we're kind of picking them up from New York City and bringing them right here to New London.
Cool. And
Yeah.
so tell about the whole idea of Split. What's the basis of it? And they're already in rehearsals getting ready to do this.
Yeah, so they're in rehearsals in New York right now, then they'll come here to New London, be here for 2 weeks as well. It's a musical that's kind of, it takes place in the 50s, and it's about a mother and a daughter as they are about to do a cross-country trip. The daughter thinks they're just going to the Grand Canyon. The mother is actually trying to get her to go to Berkeley and move into Berkeley and go to school there, and it's kind of what happens to their relationship along the way and the people they meet. It's a folk rock score. It's a really, really fun score by a composer named Zoe Sarnak, who, if you look her up, I'm sure we'll list her here. She's got a ton going on right now. She was at Barrington Stage. She's had some off-Broadway shows going on as well. And book and conceived by Michelle Lowe. It's a really, really exciting show that has gone through different processes in New York through 29-hour readings and workshops and things like that. And this will be its kind of next step. This is not the end step for Split.
Sure.
Hopefully this will be the thing that kind of puts it on another pedestal to get it to its next incarnation. But this is a part of our Nest program here at the Barn Playhouse, which is just to support new work and bring in some new things for people to see. It's only going to be 4 performances at the end of the season, so
Okay.
it's going to be quick, but we hope people will come back and check it out.
And talk about the transport group in New York, because that's also a big deal too, that they're going to come to New Hampshire.
Yeah. So Transport Group is led by Jack Cummings III, who is their artistic director, and Denise Dickens, who is their executive director. Jack was actually at the Barn in 2022 directing Almost Maine.
Okay.
So if anyone saw that and remembers that, he's going to come back and he'll actually direct Split as well. But they're a really renowned off-Broadway theater company, tons of credits, tons of awards, and they really foster new work, and classics is kind of part of their mission. And so this is a part of the program through their new work initiative that they've built up and that they've invested in and that they are kind of pushing forward. And so they're going to bring that directly to us here, which is exciting.
Really cool. New York to New London.
Exactly.
I think there's some thing here.
And they'll all be on the Dartmouth coach, the direct line.
Thank you to the Dartmouth coach,
Yeah.
yes. For people interested, tell about the dates, tickets, all those sorts of
Yeah,
things.
so of course you can find all that information on our website. We are running the 5th through the 8th. There's a matinee on Saturday, I believe, as I'm like figuring out the calendar in my head, but all that information right on the website. All tickets, because this is kind of a new venture for us, all tickets are $40, and we're hoping that people just come out and support this and see this. There's an incredible group of artists that are joining us for this. Katie Thompson is who plays Lillian, which is the lead in the show, is the mother. She's got a bevy of Broadway credits, and it's just going to be really exciting, I think, to kind of pick these people up out of New York and drop them here in New Hampshire, and to give that experience to New London as well, to see something as it's on its step, going to the next step and see what that's like.
And you've also had some good donor base interested in supporting this.
Yeah, so we have a really great group of people that have invested in the Nest program. We're so grateful to that inaugural group that's really supporting this and saying, come on, let's try something new, let's do something and see what's going on. So
really making the Barn Playhouse a year-round destination.
Well, we're trying
Keep it going.
for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Elliott, thank you for joining me and telling us all about Split.
Of course, thank you.
Wow, it's fun to watch the Barn become a more and more year-round cultural center in the Lake Sunapee region. When we return, we'll have part 2 of Tim Blagdon's update on the Lake Sunapee to Concord Rail Trail. So keep it tuned to YCN, your local view, after this message from another supporter of your Yankee Chronicle.
This program is supported by Main Street Bookends of Warner. For books, toys, games, cards, gifts, and a gallery of local art. Main Street Bookends of Warner.
In every family, small conversations can make a big impact. I grew up on tour with my parents. Kind of different, but we bonded over music and we talked. honest conversations, like when my dad shared his experiences as an alcoholic. Your honesty gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted in my own life.
And I wanted you to know, from someone who's been in recovery more than 30 years now, that hard work is what creates success, not alcohol or other drugs, in whatever you do.
Talk, they hear you.
Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. This week we are being presented by the Lake Sunapee Region VNA and Hospice, the leading provider of home health care services in our region. I'm Abby Peel, your host. Last week, Tim Blagdon and his daughter gave us a rundown on advances along the Concord to Lake Sunapee Rail Trail. Tell us more, Tim.
Welcome back to Warner. Tim Blagdon here to talk a little bit about the Concord Lake Sunapee Rail Trail. We're here at Bagley Bridge, which is Bagley Field is the home of the soccer fields in Warner, and it's where in 2014 we put down the first half mile of rail trail for the Concord Lake Sunapee Rail Trail. And then a couple of years later, we came back and extended this section of trail up to the bridge here in 2017 and redecked the bridge. And today we're pleased to say that we're doing another project to go from this bridge a half mile up to exit 8 on Interstate 89. So the Concord Lake Sunapee Rail Trail is a vision to turn this green and red line where the old Concord and Claremont train used to be into a rail trail. It's one of 3 rail trails in the area. The Merrimack River Greenway Trail, which is shown in yellow here, is their mission is to come from the Boscawen-Concord town line down north-south through Concord to reach down into Hooksett, Allenstown, and Pembroke. And then from Boscawen going north is the Northern Rail Trail, and that is complete. That's over 60 miles worth of completed stone dust rail trail ready for your enjoyment today. Our job is a little tougher because this line was abandoned fully and it's owned by over 100 different people. So we're working with landowners who are giving us access to land, and then once we have all the access we need between 2 public streets or 2 public access points, we build the project. So of the 34 miles that we're trying to go, we've already secured access to over half the distance. But in terms of built projects, I'll walk you up quickly and show you what's happening on the ground. So here in Concord, this blue chevron is 2.5 miles long. The good stone dust started here. We opened the 3rd week of the pandemic. We built another section and another section. This year, we're coming from Bog Road all the way out to Carter Hill Road, and I think that project will start in August or September and be done before the snow flies. The city of Concord has given us access to these pieces of property, and so we'll start looking at how we get across the river. There's other land that we have under control in the middle here, so I think you'll see over the next couple of years some projects coming in this area. Down in Kentucky, we've worked with the town of Hopkinton, and they built a section of trail from the library over to Kearsarge Ave. It's sort of covered up by the dot, but it makes a very meaningful connection. So kids who go to the middle and high school can come down the new sidewalk the town built, cut over onto this section, and reach the library and the playing fields, which are located here. And then this is on the ground. It comes the Stevens Rail Trail. It comes up to almost to exit 7 here. And that's available for you to use, and there's trail maps on our website. In this section, we have some easements, and we need some more to extend the trail south, but we're working on that. And we've just talked about the Bagley and Bagley Bridge to exit 8 and exit 8. And we have some easements in here that will connect directly to this exit 8 project, so we'll be able to make it a little bit longer. There's a lot of work going on in this section. I don't want to get into details yet. But I do want to talk about up here in Newberry, that the town of Newberry gave us access to part of the railroad grade that they control, and so we've put in for a grant. If we get that, it should be awarded late this year and be available to construct between July and December of 2025. And by announcing that project, we've been able to work with 2 more landowners to get some other to access some additional land. So that we're very excited and hope that we're building in Newberry next year. So this section in Concord that's shown in blue was started with an RTP grant, Recreational Trails Program grant, and then we got some additional funding, built a little bit more. But the section we're working on now, this last 1.25 miles, is funded primarily by NHCDFA, that's the Community Development Finance Authority, tax credits. So if you own a business that owes the state of New Hampshire a tax bill, please consider purchasing tax credits through us or through New Hampshire Community Development Finance Authority, because that's how this project here is being funded, in addition to some private donations. So those tax credits work wonderfully for you. As a business owner, it's your opportunity to tell the state of New Hampshire exactly where you want your tax dollars spent. That's pretty amazing. And they're heavily leveraged, so it costs you less than $1 as a business owner to give us $1 to work with. So it works out very well. You get to have more impact on your community as a business owner, and they're tremendously helpful to us. So if you're interested to learn more about the Concord Lake Sunapee Rail Trail and how it's coming together, we have a website that is CLSRT.org. It's the abbreviation of Concord Lake Sunapee Rail Trail. We also maintain a Facebook page. You just search for Concord Lake Sunapee Rail Trail on Facebook, and please follow us, and you'll see that we post events. So if you want to come out with your loppers and help us maintain the trail, or put down a little bit of stone dust, whatever it is that we're doing, we do announce those events on our Facebook page. So those are the 2 great ways to stay in touch with us.
Thank you, Tim, and all those that keep budding that rail trail dam. It looks like bits and pieces, it becomes more of a reality with every report. When we return, we'll be on Little Lake Sunapee with Ausbon Sargent's Jamie Wilson for a look at protected properties around the water. But first, these words from another good business that keeps your Yankee Chronicle coming to you.
This program is supported by the Innertown Record, your weekly hometown community newspaper covering the Kearsarge Sunapee Sunshine region of New Hampshire. The Innertown Record.
Prescription drug pricing points to corporate
Freedom of the press is about your right to know.
and Clark sheer athleticism.
It's about your right to be informed.
For the stock market.
Today, there are real threats to press freedom
reaching residential areas.
and your right to know about the world around us. We must protect our right to know, no matter what kind of news is important to you.
Great question.
Before it's too late, understand the threats. ProtectPressFreedom.org.
You're looking at the #1 cause of lung cancer. That's why the Surgeon General issued this warning. Now you're looking at the #1 cause of lung cancer for non-smokers. That's why the Surgeon General issued this warning. Radon is an invisible radioactive gas that seeps inside your home from underground. Whether you smoke or not, radon can cause lung cancer. Protect your family. Have your home tested. Call 1-800-SOS-RADON. Radon problems can be fixed.
Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle, the who, what, where, and when show of the Lake Sunapee region. I'm your host, Abby Peel. The Ausbon Sargent mission is to protect lands from further development. Let's join them today on Little Lake Sunapee for a look at their work around the lake.
So Ausbon Sargent is a land trust. We work on conservation in the Mount Kearsarge Ragged Sunapee region. I chose to come to Little Lake Sunapee today to do a guided event, partnering with the Little Lake Sunapee Protective Association, because we have almost a mile of frontage on the lake here of conservation land and like hundreds of acres on the surrounding land. And the Lake Sunapee watershed is a major watershed in our area that's kind of in a fine balance of whether it's going to continue to be great high water quality or if more nutrients are going to start running off into the lakes here. So we stopped on the north side of this lake over here. We have 6 easements over there. That's about 250 acres of conservation land. Easements with Ausbon Sargent. And then we also paddled over to Colby Point, which divides the lake in half. It is a conservation easement, not with Ausbon Sargent, but I believe it's the Society for the Protection of New Hampshire Forests. We paddled over to the other side where we have our first ever fee-owned property called Evergreen Point. The woman who donated it to us just asked that it be returned to its natural state, so it's been allowed to grow in. And then coming back down the south side of this lake, we had quite a few more easements right on the lake frontage. It's about 3/4 of a mile just in that point right there. That's all preserved and primarily forest land. Ausbon Sargent has over 13,500 acres of conservation land in the Mount Kearsarge Ragged Sunapee region. It's 167 properties, primarily conservation easements with landowners, getting a few more fee-owned properties as the years have gone on. So it was founded in 1987 by a woman named Debbie Stanley. The office staff itself is a small group. We have less than 10 people, but we do have over 200 volunteers that participate in Ausbon Sargent. And they do everything from envelope stuffing for reach outs to some people come in and do summaries for us. We have a newsletter chatter. And then we also, I'm starting to do, which they've done before, but my new role to help with is guided events like this paddle, where we reach out anyone who's interested. Doesn't have to be a volunteer, they don't have to be a member. Any community member can come and learn and see our easements and hopefully help with the land conservation down the road. So Ausbon Sargent Land Preservation Trust, if you Google that, we do have our own website. On that website, it talks about all of the properties that we help conserve, as well as all of our events coming up. There's a calendar on there and a lot more information on that website.
Thank you, Jamie, and to Ausbon Sargent for your efforts to protect land in our region. Tune in next week at this same time as we come to you from the beautiful living room of the classic New London Inn on Main Street as our Laura James spends the full half hour with the new chair of the Kearsarge Regional District School Board, Allison Maston. We'll hear about her years on the board, how it works for the interests of our students and taxpayers, thoughts on the new superintendent, and her vision for the future of our schools. YCN's Game of the Week revisits Newport's climb to the Division IV championship game as they take on Bishop Brady in the semifinals. Check out the schedules on our website for the most up-to-date fall live game schedule. Games replay every Sunday and Monday at noon and 7 p.m. on TDS channels 13 and 1013, NCTV 8, Roku, Apple TV, and for those that don't have cable, our YCNnow.com website carries all of our programming anytime on demand. I'm Abby Peel. Join us again next week for a fresh edition of your Yankee Chronicle. Enjoy your weekend, everyone.
This program is supported by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Their full-service model offers oil delivery, propane, motor fuels with design, installation, service, and maintenance of all types of oil, gas, and alternative energy systems, as well as air conditioning, water conditioning systems, and their highly trained and friendly staff will assist you throughout the process of buying, installing, and servicing a full line of energy products. H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire since 1997, with roots going back much further as the country press, AccuMail, and the home of the Kearsarge shopper. Echo Communications. Main Street Bookends of Warner, for books, toys, games, cards, gifts, and a gallery of local art. Main Street Bookends of Warner. The Innertown Record, your weekly hometown community newspaper covering the Kearsarge Sunapee Sunshine region of New Hampshire. The Innertown Record.